Well, hey, garage people. It's been a minute, but as you can see, I'm back in the garage, and I'm back in Minnesota. Made it back from Alaska after a work season, and it is now officially November here. I think it's November 3rd today, but it is still super nice out. I actually wouldn't even need this hat right now. I'm just wearing it out of, what do you want to say, habit, I suppose. It is super sunny. I got the Trailblazer is running just fine. I got to get to work on that before too long here. GP and four-wheeler is out. Everything's outside because, let me turn you around. Like I said, I'm working on the Camaro to at least get everything buttoned up for the season and maybe even get it up for a tune here if I can finish things up shortly. So I'll bring you in under here and brief you real quick. As you can see, there's no air conditioner, no air conditioned compressor right there. And there's the belt hanging off. And I've got my new compressor from UAC via Summit. And it's ready to install. I got a little over half the oil installed in here, and the rest I'll pour into the system up top. I'm gonna toss this in. I got the new O-rings on the pipes already. This one's all sealed up, and I'll just put it in the box for now. I don't know how to dispose it, or we'll see if I might try to rebuild it, but it leaks from right in there. So, yeah, unfortunately, we will see if there's anything that can be done with it, and maybe I can fix it and sell it. But this one was only like 120 bucks, I believe, from Summit, and it's brand new, and my system is fine. Like, nothing exploded or got wrecked, so there's no metal in it, so I'm just gonna rock this. Toss that one in the box when I'm done. I got these ready to go. And then also, on my bench here, I got my bottle heater. And then in my drawer, I've got some switches, a blue one and a green one, and I'm gonna put those on my dashboard and then use the green one in conjunction with this to properly activate my, my two-step. So I'll switch on the green, that'll arm the system, and then when I push the clutch all the way in, that'll activate the two-step. So that'll be sweet. And then the blue I'm gonna use for a bottle heater, and it's all gonna go in the same spot in the dash just to keep it simple. And so I'll have to pull up the carpet again so I can run a positive line so I'll ground this at the back and then run positive all the way up from the back to the front, and then tee that into my 12-volt source, put it through one of those switches, and then also that 12-volt source will go into the switch and then out to the Lingenfelter activation button as well. So it should work pretty easily. I'll just have to add a switch rather than use the driver's, the clutch, neutral clutch switch or whatever, neutral safety switch. That's what it is, the neutral safety switch on the clutch. So yeah, I'm gonna throw the compressor in. Watching some YouTube right now. Throw the compressor in, and then once that's buttoned up, I am waiting on tools from O'Reilly's to pressurize the system and test it out so I can fill it, which will be sweet, or vacuum down the system rather, so I know it's good, and then I'll pull it to 0, then fill it, and then I'll be done with that. And meanwhile, while that's happening, I'll lower this down, pull out the seat, and start doing my wiring. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this back up there so I can get this down there and start the stuff inside the car. And I'll take you guys along with me after I have that back in. The AC compressor isn't hard to install, but it's just a tedious pain in the butt. It's got 4 screws, or rather, so you put it up there, and then the 2 bolts on the top, you have to do those first, and then you can put the bolt through the back. Oh, there's the O-rings, and then this goes onto the back of the compressor, and then you can get it in place and tighten down, and then you put the 2 bolts in the bottom. But the trick is you can't get at the top 2 bolts when this thing is tight, because this bar, or tube, it's a tube, not a bar, gets in the way of the 2 bolts that go in right there. So yeah, it's all just a fun balancing act. So I'm going to try to do it as neatly as possible, not get oil all over the place. Then I can put the sway bar back up and tighten down the end links. And then once it's down on the ground, I will eventually tighten up the bottoms so it doesn't bind. But I've got grease in there, so it should be fine. But yeah, in any case, I'm going to try not to stop saying so much. In any case, I will bring the car back down when I'm done and bring you guys into the cab with me when I've got some stuff going on in there. So stay tuned, as always. I'm glad to be back in the garage. It's been too long. Hopefully we'll get some driving videos soon. Come on, right?
To this season, I think my leg has just gotten that bit stronger. Like, yeah, I was hitting from 60 plus last year, but I think
70, that one would have been good from like 72 you hit there in Las Vegas.
Hey, Camaro people and garage fans worldwide. Look, if you look under here, and back there, that's our amplifier. We got our subwoofer down here, nitrous bottle there. We got some seats and interior pieces down here. Looks like a lot, but it's really not. I can have this all back together before too long. But what we're doing is working on the interior, obviously. We've got our new air conditioner compressor installed down there. You can just see the end of it. Oop, right there. That's all plumbed in and ready for when I get the tools from O'Reilly's. Got the battery on the tender just while the door's open. And I am currently installing another switch, well, another pair of switches in my knee panel here. So this is what goes under the steering column. That is the trunk switch. The little blue button is the purge for the nitrous. The red is the activation for the nitrous system, like the arming switch. This one underneath right here is going to be a blue. Wait, no. Huh? It should be a green. This one's the green one. Okay, I test fit the wrong one. So this blue one right here, that will be the bottle heater, and that's going to go here actually when I drilled another hole. And this green one will go here, and that will be the activation for the arming switch for the line lock. So it'll be blue, blue, red, green. So that's the plan for that. I just got to use these conjunction of drill bits and this to drill a hole through this panel here, which is good because as you can see from this dimple, this panel is super thick, so it's really rigid, but it's kind of a pain to get the terminals to access there. As you can see, I kind of had to countersink it a little bit. So, made do. And it looks good on the front. You can't tell, there's no overhang, so I'm happy with it. So, got to repeat that right about here. And then what we're going to do is get this bottle blanket wrapped around the nitrous bottle and find a spot to ground it back here. There's amplifier wires and subwoofer wires and nitrous activation wires and all sorts of stuff. So there's plenty of space. I can find somewhere to ground something. And then I'll run the power cord up through under the carpet here, up and into the side panel, and then down and along the kick panel and up into the dash there. And then I will pick up 12 volts from my system from my little bus bar after I rewire my clutch switch back to factory. And then that can plug into the switch after I ground the switch so the light works. And that'll be the nitrous heater system. And then after that, what I'm going to do is disconnect so this yellow, that yellow is the nitrous cable, but up on top of my clutch pedal there's a switch that's controlling the two-step that comes in. There's an orange wire there, that comes from the Lingenfelter box under the hood, and I'm going to set that back to stock and then connect that Lingenfelter switch to this switch, to one side of this switch, and then the other side of this switch will go to this switch, and then that will go to 12 and then ground. So this will be the armor for this switch, and then this will be the activator for the retardation for the timing. So, not the retardation for the timing, that's with the nitrous system, but it'll activate the rev limiter for the two-step. So that should work pretty well, I think. Just one more switch in the system plus an arming switch, which it'll be good actually because then I can engage no lift shift if I want to, or if I don't, I can just turn it off with the flick of a switch, and then my clutch is completely normal every other way. So I think that's going to work out really well. So what I'm going to do is pull this panel out and then start laying wires after I get this other switch mounted in here, because then this will be ready to put some terminals on, and then I'll have to start adding wire and using all my bits and bobs here to soldering iron, switch, got terminals, heat shrink tubing, zip ties, all the stuff to solder all the connections. So that's my project for the rest of the day, slash probably into tomorrow. And then once that's all buttoned up and done, I want to take a couple measurements for a J-pipe sound deadener on the bottom to make at an exhaust shop, which I'll show you guys that once I have it back up. But once I have everything together, I'll get the tools from O'Reilly's tomorrow, hopefully, and then can test the AC. And then provided the AC works and these other systems are all go, then we're off to the races, and we're officially done pending a tune. So hopefully we can get a tune this season, and if we can't, we'll still take some driving videos, but if we can, we'll definitely get a tune. And we'll see about maybe going to an exhaust shop potentially, but I still have to get outside the door, still have to get the Trailblazer going as well. So I'm gonna finish up this stuff, get the bottle heater placed, get the switches all happy, and then we will eventually test the two-step and cross our fingers that that works. And then we'll get the AC charged up, and yeah, should be set after that. So I think I have a little bit of a rattle on this switch right here that I might try to fix. But yeah, we'll be golden once I get that stuff done. So just little things. As you guys know, the car does run, so it's just making things nice, and then if nothing else, we'll hit it next season. So it's officially, come on camera, there we go. It's officially November 4th, I think, and it is gorgeous today. It's like 50, 55, little breeze, like I am just in hog heaven right now after coming back from Alaska where it was like single digits and snow and frozen already. Like this is like heaven on earth, so I'm pretty well stoked. I'm gonna head back in. Yeah, and maybe even work on the Chevelle a little bit before the snow flies. I definitely I want to get a new distributor. I think this thing's having spark problems, so I'm going to get a HEI distributor and do away with this old big fat coil there, so we'll combine the two, and I think that'll probably take care of our problems with a fresh set of plugs, but we'll see after that. So, but those aren't too expensive, so that's my plan. But yeah, I'm going to put the phone down and take a couple little things apart, drill some holes, and start laying some wire. And I'll come back to you guys when everything is done, but before I have it buttoned up, so I can show you what it kind of looks like. So, yeah, see you soon. Hey, garage people, back at you. A little cleaned up. Got the, let me see it, there we go. Pat McAfee show on the TV. Megatron's on there, kind of cool, even though, you know, Detroit, so... But hey, Megatron, pretty cool. Working on the Camaro here. It's a beautiful day again. Slightly cooler, but very sunny and a little breeze. So I got the doors open as long as I can have them. Let me turn you around here and I'll show you what's going on. I pretty much got things maximally disassembled. So I've terminated a couple wires, and I got some stuff to route. And I will basically start putting things back together after I get the one more switch mounted and a couple more wires terminated. So I'll turn you around here and show you what we're working with. Whoop. So we got that red wire hanging down is 12 volt power switched. So that will feed our switches. This yellow wire coming through and terminated into black just because I needed to add some length. That is coming from our Lingenfelter box here. That is this yellow wire right here going into the cab. So that will get plugged into our That yellow wire will get terminated with one of these. Focus. We'll get terminated with one of these and plugged into one of these terminals on this switch, which will then get mounted to be actuated by the clutch. So that'll go the yellow will go into here, and then coming out will be a jumper to go to the back of this green switch right here in the middle. Well, speaking of, this is my switch panel. Look at that, it came out real nice. So there's the back with the terminals. I got, boo, look at that. So that's going to be the purge right there. That's nitrous arm, so that's off. This is armed for the, let's see, how am I going to have this? This is for the two-step. So arming the two-step on and off, so that's off, that'll be armed. And then this is the bottle heater, so that's on right now, and that'll be off. And then this is the purge. So purge is blue, bottle heater is blue, green is go for rev limiter, and then red is hot for nitrous. So that'll be pretty sweet once that's all back in there. The other side of this little momentary switch will get jumpered to the center of this green one on the bottom, the center prong here, and the bottom one goes to ground, and then the top one will go to 12 volt power. So when I switch on 12 volt power, the system will see live when the car is running, and then when I activate this with the clutch, the rev limiter function will kick in, or the two-step function. So that should work pretty sweet. And then this one is the same but easier. This will come from my bottle heater here. This is getting grounded at the back, which I'll show you. And then this is going to run up past the driver's seat up to the front, and that will get connected to the positive, or the, excuse me, the middle terminal here. Ground will go to the bottom, and then that 12 volt power will go to the top. So when I flip that on, that will light up blue, and then the bottle, nitrous bottle will heat up. And then this is just my purge button, and it's just momentary. You just push it and it fires the purge solenoid. So I know these two work already because I've used them. So I'll rig these two up for the line lock. Line lock is on the shift column, which I'll show you. This will be for the the rev limiter, the two-step, and this will be for the bottle heater. So we got two-step, bottle heater, purge, nitrous arm, trunk. And then right here we have nitrous activate, and then we have line lock activate as well, which shows with our little light here. So this switch, I think, is, and it's slightly rattly, but yeah, it's just how it is, I think. So we'll see if maybe we can do something about that, but no biggie. So anyway, the 12 volt line has to get doubled, so I can put two prongs on it, one for each switch. And then this one gets terminated so it can plug into that little clicker switch. And then I'll make a jumper to go from the clicker switch to the other one. The other switch, or the green switch rather. And then these are two grounds here, one for each switch, the blue and the green. So that'll take care of all of that, and I'll run my bottle heater positive wire along here and up through here and under the carpet and over to here. And that will come through. Pat's going to break, and that'll come through over here. So the bottle heater will get grounded on this screw right here, and then the bottle sits in here, and then the blanket will wrap around it and sit on here. This is the blowdown tube, and then I got my gauge cluster sensor here, and then the feed line from the bottle to the manifold. So that'll sit in there all nice, and then all I'll have to do is flip the switch and it'll warm up. So we'll install that and test it before we button everything back up, but that part should be pretty easy. Then the hard part will be mounting this clutch switch, or this switch, so it gets activated by the clutch when it's all the way pushed in. So what that'll involve, it's got two little holes in it already, so what I'll probably do is try to find a little fastener that'll fit through one of them, And then I think what I'm gonna do is, here's the clutch pedal right here, and then there's this metal bracket up, let's see, up there. When you push it, it bottoms out on this little pad right here. And so if I mount the switch to the bracket and then angle it such that it pushes against, there we go, this rod pushes against this switch when this is pushed all the way in and bottomed out against that. And then I think I'll anchor this somehow, like, let's see if I can hold this here with the other hand. Something like that, and then it'll, when the clutch is pushed in, yeah, so it's just gonna be some playing around. So this lever, yeah, pushes that in like that, so that should be fun. Let me get out of under the dash here. Yeah, so that is going to be the most customizational part, and then the rest of it is just fitting the stuff back together, so it shouldn't be too hard. Most of the wires up in here are factory, except for the stuff on this side is the stuff that I added, but and then the gauges go up through here. You can see my labeling in there, but yeah, all of this stuff works just fine. And when the knee panel is on, like, obviously it looks factory, so I'll button all that up. And after this is fitted, and then we'll test everything, and hopefully O'Reilly's will call me, and I will go and pick up yeah, I guess they're mine because I bought them, and until I return them, they're mine. My AC equipment tools. I said I'm going to try to stop saying I'm working on it, and it's tough because I'm trying to think of sentence joiners and transitions and such. Oh, Pat's back on. But yeah, hopefully O'Reilly's calls up today and I can go pick up those tools and make one return, so save myself $10, and then fix the AC system and test the other stuff, and that should be, if everything green lights, then she's done. Except for I kind of want to do a anti-drone system on the exhaust, but we'll talk about that later because that's going to involve a little bit of help. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What I'm going to do is terminate these wires, mount the clutch switch, put the bottle blanket around the bottle and anchor that back in the back, and start running the wire up through here and down and down and down. So, yeah. Stay tuned, and I'll bring you guys back in before, let's see, I'll bring you back in when everything is installed and ready to reassemble, so, damn it, yeah, see you soon. Alright, garage people, here's my momentary switch rigged up, put a little bit of a bend in it, and that little pigtail coming off of it, as you can see, focus. Wow, that's, jeez. The little pigtail hanging off of the switch will connect to the switch panel on here, and then the other switch on it connects to this. And you can see up here, there we go. I cut those two little grooves in the support for the clutch. So when this swings up like that, these bolts will go in that notch, and the arm will pivot up and hit against this and do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and crawl up under there with this hardware, this little thing, and I got some adhesive on here. And I'll stick that up there and plug that into it, and then stick the whole thing up there, and then it will be ready to plug into the knee panel once I get that up. So hopefully I can install that and then pretty easily, and then I will hook the clutch push rod back up, and then I can rig up the power switches, make sure that thing is good to go, and then I can button everything back up. So we are getting there. The bottle heater is installed, and the wiring, you can't see, I'm listening to some Pat McAfee highlights here. Bottle heater is installed, the ground runs behind and attaches to that silver post, and then the power runs up through here. There it is right there. Whoop. And there it goes down there. I have it running through here, and then it comes out right there, and then that will loop up to my switch panel as well. So yeah, positive on the top, ground on the bottom, source in the middle. So that'll go to the source, and then the grounds will plug into the bottom, and then the tops will get power from those. So we are almost ready to install. I'm going to do that, and I'll check back in with you guys once I got stuff put back together. See ya.
This animosity towards him. Why Swansea was so sarcastic about him during his initial conversation.
Hey, garage people. Watching a little Wendigoon on the tube. And got the Camaro lowered down. And the legs are out from under the lift. She's up on blocks, because it's easier to get the jack under to lower her down the rest of the way. But we are, knock on wood here, done. So what that means is, under here, everything is back to normal. We got our new AC compressor hiding out down there. That is all plumbed in and connected. We got our connections here for our accumulator, our condenser, all that stuff. Our Lingenfelter box is set to 3,000. You can see on the little meter here. 3,000. So we'll test that. With the clutch, the switch activates great. Let's see here. Hold this open. We got my switches here. And then down on the clutch pedal, you can't see it, but it definitely has the little switch on there mounted up against the firewall. Well, not quite on the firewall. It's on the bracket, the clutch pedal bracket, and it activates when the clutch is all the way pushed in. So the only thing left to do is wheel it out and fire it up, and make sure the switches all light up, and then just test the bottle heater and make sure the two-step activates. And then I need some gas, but also I want to call O'Reilly's to see if the tools are in yet for the air conditioner system, because that's the only thing left to do. So we are pretty much done as we sit here, which is sweet. So for the rest of the day, for the rest of the day, we got this action. Oh yeah, it's bubbling in there. Get yourself a girlfriend who not only has a sweet garage, but also knows how to cook a mean roast. We collaborated on it. I did most of the chopping. She browned up the roast, and then we just chucked it in the crock pot with some bouillon stock and some various garlic and celery salt. I think we got celery, mushrooms, potatoes, carrots, and I think that's maybe it, or maybe some other. No, I think that's it, actually. Wouldn't do onions, but the girlfriend does not like onions, but it does make for a good stew. And we did put a little bit of onion salt in, so, but yeah, it smells delicious. So, I'm gonna put this down and call O'Reilly's to see where they're at with things. And if that's done, I'm gonna run there in the Grand Prix, make a return, get the tools. Then I can vacuum this down before I fire up the motor, which is the suggested way to put the refrigerant in. It's the suggested way to do it is vacuum down the system and hold a vacuum for like, it recommends an hour, but I don't know if I'll do that long. And then after you verify the vacuum, you put, since it's a negative pressure, you can, and the can's positive pressure, so it's doubly good. So you put half the charge of AC into the system, and then let it sit for a few minutes, and then start up the motor, put all the windows down, turn the heat, the air conditioning maximum all the way up, and the blower all the way up, and then feed the rest of the refrigerant in there. So that's my plan. I'm going to call O'Reilly's. I'm still saying all the time. I'm going to call O'Reilly's, get a little bit of food in me for lunch, because the stew or the roast is for dinner. And then I will get back to you guys when we're functioning, and I'll let you see the results of the process that we've been working on. I can pop open the trunk here. Got it all put back together except for this panel. Obviously goes right here, and I left it open because I'm going to test out, make sure the bottle heater gets warm. I could just watch the pressure gauge, but this is a little bit more hands-on, I guess, just to take out the variable that it could be increasing from some other means. So we will check that. Here's the power wire right here, and there's the ground back there. So once we get the motor fired up, we'll test that, because that switch panel will engage when the motor is running and there's power going to it. So should be good there. Recalibrated the O2 sniffer for the gauge, verified the cutout, and everything else is happy. So yeah, we're looking good. I will bring you guys back when we have some progress to post. Sweet. Well, garage people, it's not exactly summer, but I managed to get the AC equipment from O'Reilly's. We'll see what's actually like outside right now. It's still, it's getting late. It's a little windy, but it's still like 50 degrees. So it's not terrible. But oh, I wish you guys could be in here with me right now. It smells amazing, and not because of the Camaro, but because of, oh yeah. Woo, look at that steam. Oh yeah. Much excite. It's amazing. So the last thing to do is vacuum this system down. I'm gonna hook this up and let it work its way down. It should go right to the -1, which is the full vacuum, or close. Like, it should be at least 25 out of 30 on that inches of mercury. And we'll let it go on there. And then the first one I'm going to add is actually this little thing. It's an ounce of air conditioning charge, an ounce of this ester oil charge, which is lubricating the pump. The system takes 9 ounces, and I only put in 8, so this will bring it up to 9. And then it's also got this ice performance enhancer, which is just supposed to make the air conditioning better. And so 11 plus 11 is 22. This is 23. I believe my system calls for 24 or 25, so this should be right on the zone. And if it needs more than that, we'll do more than that eventually, but that should get it plenty to run, and verify that everything's good. And then, you know, if it starts leaking again, we'll see, but it shouldn't. I've replaced the compressor and everything's in, so I'm going to do this and get that solidified, and then once that is all the way sucked down and this one are both installed, then I will roll the baby forward and roll her outside, or at least closer to the door so it's not so gassy in here. And we will start up the motor and test the bottle heater and install the rest of the AC charge and make sure that works and make sure the switches work. So will be a lot of fun. Finally getting there to the end of getting this thing roadworthy or storage worthy, which are this one and the same at this point. And because once I'm done here, again, the only thing that'll be separating me from normal driving is the tune. So yeah, I'm gonna keep rocking the Wendigoon, and when Jenny gets home we'll eat, but until then I'm gonna continue with the air conditioning. See you soon again. Hey garage people, car's on the ground. I'll flip you around here. Quick update before I go in and have a little bit of lunch, and then I'll be back out, hopefully for the end of this video. So, car's on the ground. I actually have put it back up in the air to measure and adjust a little bit on the exhaust right there. I wanted to measure the length of that SLP can, and then also measure the clearance I have around it. because for thinking in the future about my exhaust modification to get rid of the drone in the cab, I'm going to do either a Helmholtz chamber, like a resonance frequency chamber, and I have a way that I can add that onto the current exhaust, but also cans that are about that same length range anywhere from $60 to $150. I think actually the real expensive one is like a top of the line, either Magna Flow or Flowmaster, and that one's like $250. But there's some very good ones for as low as $70 and as high as like $130. So I'm gonna source a few of those and see which one's the biggest one that will fit. My thinking with that is I'll go for maximum sound muffling when the cutout is closed, and then I have the cutout, so then I open it up and I can blast at my heart's content. So I am planning on getting the biggest resonator that can fit under there, and then if we have to add a J chamber on it, we will. My battery's fully charged. The AC system is not leaking from the charge that I put in there yesterday, so it'll probably already blow cold when I turn it on, or the compressor will kick on, and then I can go about filling the rest of it after the engine's warmed up. So I'm gonna go in and have some lunch, and then the only other thing I gotta do is wheel this bad girl outside and we'll fire her up. Also, on the plus side, I figured out that if I use my little blocks here to stack the rear wheels when I take her off the lift, I don't have to use the jack, so I can swing the legs under there, and then I got the other block in front so it'll roll over and not hit the cutout on the channel on the floor. But yeah, it saves me a little bit of effort there, so that's pretty sweet. All for that. And then the only other thing is I've got my bottle heater to test out, and then if that works, when that works, I will put that panel back on and we'll be clever to go. So yeah, everything is peachy up in here. Everything's reinstalled except for that panel. Got my switches up in front. Yeah, good to go. Be back shortly. Hey garage people, last video session for this one I think, or maybe second to last, either way. I'm out here in the nature doing errands, shout out Menards, and let me turn you around. We got the Camaro here, gassed up, and let's see here. If anyone tells you that you can't use your Camaro to get the groceries and the salt from Menards and the Christmas lights and what have you, they're wrong. We're out here working. We're low. Yeah, we're pretty much riding on the bump stops back here, but we got 160 pounds extra over the rear wheels, so you know it'll do that. Other than that, the car's running good, probably best it ever has. Aside from my switches here not working, so we'll get home and test that out and figure out what's what. But I don't have to even have the car on the lift to do that. Air conditioner is working, which is awesome. That closed up. It's about mid 40s out here, and I tested the air conditioner to make sure that it worked, which it did, but it kind of threw me for a little loop because the air coming out wasn't really, it was pretty much ambient temperature, which I thought was odd. But then I was like, oh yeah, it's all of 40 plus degrees out here, which makes sense. And the air was crispy when it was blowing on my face, so that was good. And the compressor was spinning, and the engine like idled down or idled up when it kicked on. So I don't know, I think it's pretty good. Air conditioner works. Like I said, engine's running really good. Still working on the little accessories, but I think I'm gonna give DRM a call this weekend, and we'll go from there. Maybe I'll drop it off next week. It's so close. It will even idle how I have it set. It just is a little high, and then it'll settle, but it'll catch itself and not stall, which is exactly what we want. So I think it's got to be right there. So anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna end this video here, and we'll get home. Actually, here, I'll fire it up. How about that? Just to prove to you guys I'm not lying.